Let's be clear about one thing before we begin. This video is not about shaming people. It's not about where you come from, how much money you have right now, or what circumstances you were born into. This is about habits. And habits are powerful because they quietly shape your future. Two people can earn the same income. One builds wealth over time. The other stays broke forever. The difference isn't luck. It isn't intelligence. It's behavior, repeated daily. Today, we're exposing 10 habits that keep people poor, not just financially, but mentally. And if you recognize even one of these in yourself, that's not a reason to feel bad. It's an opportunity to change. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want honest conversations about money, mindset, and building a better life, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now, let's get into it. 1. Looking rich instead of becoming rich. One of the most common habits that keeps people poor is the obsession with looking rich instead of actually becoming rich. Many people are more concerned with appearances than progress. Designer clothes bought on credit. Expensive phones with unpaid bills. Luxury cars parked outside rented homes. From the outside, it looks like success. From the inside, it is financial pressure and anxiety. The need to look successful slowly replaces the discipline required to build real success. Money that could have been saved or invested is spent trying to impress people who are not paying attention. Wealthy people understand something that poor people often overlook. Real wealth is quiet. It does not demand validation. It does not chase attention. It is built behind the scenes through patience, discipline, saving, investing, and delayed gratification. Try to look rich drains your future. Becoming rich requires humility and time. One gives temporary validation. The other creates long-term freedom. 2. A poor mindset and low self-belief. Before poverty appears in your bank account, it usually appears in your mind. A poor mindset is filled with limiting beliefs that quietly sabotage progress. I'm not smart enough. People like me don't succeed. Money is evil. I'll never get ahead anyway. These thoughts become invisible chains. They shape how you see opportunities and how you respond to challenges. When someone believes they're destined to struggle, they stop trying. They stop learning. They stop taking risks. Over time, that belief becomes reality. Wealthy people do not always start confident. Many start with fear, uncertainty, and self-doubt. The difference is that they take action despite those feelings. Confidence is built through experience, not wishful thinking. A poor mindset asks, why even try? A wealthy mindset asks, how can I figure this out? That single shift changes everything. 3. Poor work ethic and inability to keep a job. This habit is uncomfortable to discuss, but it matters deeply. Many people struggle not only to find work, but to keep it. They arrive late. They complain constantly. They give minimal effort. They blame management, the company, or the system. Here is the truth most people avoid. Your job is not just paying you money. It is training your discipline. It teaches you how to show up consistently, how to be reliable, and how to follow through even when you're tired or unmotivated. Wealth is built on consistency. It is built on doing what you said you would do, especially when no one is watching. If you cannot manage responsibility in a job, you will struggle to manage responsibility with money. 4. Loving to complain and make excuses. Complaining feels good in the moment. It offers emotional relief and creates the feeling that your struggles are justified. For a brief time, it eases frustration and shifts blame away from you. But comfort is where growth goes to die, and complaining rarely leads to real change. Instead, it quietly reinforces the very situation you want to escape. Poor people often complain about everything around them: the economy, their boss, the government, rich people, their family, or mistake from the past. Over time, excuses become familiar and safe. They protect the ego from discomfort, but they also block progress. Each complaint replaces an action that could have moved life forward. Wealthy people complain far less. Not because life is easier, but because they understand a crucial truth. Time spent complaining is time stolen from action. Life isn't fair, but complaining has never fixed that. Responsibility, however, creates leverage, options, and momentum toward change. 5. An hourly pay mindset instead of skill building. Poor people often trade time for money indefinitely, locking themselves into a cycle where income is always tied to hours worked. Their focus revolves around questions like, how many hours do I need to work? How much overtime can I get? And when is payday? Life becomes a countdown between shifts instead of a strategy for growth. This mindset keeps income capped, no matter how hard someone works. Wealthy people think differently. They ask, what skill can I learn? How can I increase my value? And how do I get paid for results instead of time? They understand that skills create leverage. Skills can be refined, scaled, and multiplied, while hours are limited to the same 24 each day. When you invest in valuable skills like writing, coding, sales, design, or strategy, your earning potential expands. Income is no longer restricted by the clock, but driven by impact, usefulness, and the problems you can solve for others. 6. Spending frivolously. Money flows in and out of most people's lives with little awareness. There's no tracking, no plan, and rarely any thought for the long-term consequences. Every month, many find themselves wondering where it all went, yet the pattern repeats itself. Constant eating out, impulse purchases, and buying things to temporarily feel better emotionally become the norm. These habits offer momentary satisfaction, but silently undermine financial stability. Poor people often treat money as something meant to be spent immediately rather than managed intentionally, allowing short-term pleasures to dictate decisions. In contrast, wealthy people actively decide where their money goes. They budget, save, and invest strategically, making money work for them instead of simply disappearing. 7. High monthly payments on housing and cars. This habit quietly erodes financial freedom, often without people even noticing. Large houses, luxury cars, and long-term payments create the appearance of success, but it's mostly an illusion. On the surface, it feels impressive and enviable, yet the reality is that a significant portion, or sometimes all, of your income is already spoken for before the month even begins. Wealthy people understand leverage. They use money strategically to create options, opportunities, and growth. Poor people, on the other hand, get trapped by liabilities disguised as rewards, constantly trading flexibility for status symbols. When a majority of your income goes toward maintaining appearances, there is nothing left to save, invest, or grow. 8. Choosing immediate pleasure over education. Netflix now, growth later, scrolling now, learning later. This simple choice defines the difference between temporary comfort and long-term success. Poor people often prioritize immediate gratification over lasting improvement. They choose entertainment, distractions, and ease because it feels good in the moment, even if it costs them in the future. The problem is that short-term comfort rarely leads to progress. It creates habits that silently hold people back for years. Wealthy people, by contrast, understand the power of delayed gratification. They willingly sacrifice momentary pleasures to invest in books, courses, mentors, education, and self-improvement. They embrace learning when no one is watching, building skills, knowledge, and discipline quietly but consistently. This work is often invisible at first, but over time it compounds into extraordinary results. The hardest work is done in silence, without applause, without recognition. Yet the greatest reward is becoming someone your past self would barely recognize, someone capable, confident, and financially empowered. 9. Endless hours of entertainment. Entertainment itself isn't evil, but excess quietly steals your potential. Hours of television, late-night gaming, and endless scrolling may feel relaxing, but they slowly replace ambition with distraction. Poor people often use entertainment to escape reality instead of improving it. It provides comfort in the short term, but leaves long-term goals neglected. Wealthy people think differently. They protect their attention because they understand a fundamental truth. What you feed your mind shapes your future. Learning, skill building, and focused effort create compounding results over time, while mindless entertainment produces nothing but wasted hours. Just one intentional, focused hour a day invested in growth. Reading, practicing a skill, or learning from mentors can yield massive results over months and years. Most people never start because entertainment is easier than effort, easier than discipline, and far easier than real progress. 10. Seeking approval and trying to impress society. This is the silent killer, the habit that quietly drains ambition and focus. Buying expensive items to impress people who don't care. Living for validation from others. Measuring success through likes, views, or opinions instead of tangible achievements. Poor people allow society to define their worth, letting external approval dictate choices, priorities, and even happiness. Wealthy people, on the other hand, make their own standards. They understand that real success is independent of what others think. The moment you stop trying to impress people, you reclaim enormous amounts of energy, attention, and mental space. That energy, once wasted on appearances, can finally be redirected toward growth, learning, building skills, and creating meaningful results. Free from the burden of seeking approval, you gain the clarity and freedom needed to focus on what truly matters in life. Here is the truth most people never accept. Poverty is rarely caused by one big mistake. It is caused by small habits repeated daily. The good news is that habits can change. You do not need to fix everything at once. Start with awareness. Catch yourself when you complain. Question your spending. Invest in skills. Protect your time. Most importantly, believe that you deserve better. If this video helped you see things differently, make sure you subscribe. We are building a community focused on growth, discipline, and real success. Your future self will thank you.